you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Livin the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here, coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and welcome back to the Livin the Dream podcast, where we're going to conquer the middle of the week to explore total wellness in order to reach for your goals and live your dream life. And today, we're kicking off a brand new multi-part series on one of the most powerful and most overlooked tools for optimizing your health, your mindset, your performance, and your longevity. And that is sleep. Over the next few weeks for Wellness Wednesday, we're going to dive deep into the science of sleep, what it actually does for your brain and body. We'll break down the truth behind sleep stages, hormones, memory, metabolism, even things like emotional health and more. Think of this as your complete sleep blueprint, built from cutting-edge research, simplified so that you can take action right away. And in this first episode, we're going to start strong. You're going to learn what sleep really is and how REM or REM and non-REM sleep work in 90-minute cycles to recharge your brain and your body. Why waking up early could be robbing you of the most important type of sleep. How caffeine and alcohol quietly sabotage your sleep, even if you don't notice, and how sleep boosts memory, creativity, and learning through overnight replay and file transfer systems inside of your brain. Whether you want to think clearer, train harder, feel better, or just stop waking up groggy, this episode is your starting line. Let's get into it. One of the most underrated and misunderstood pillars of total wellness, sleep. Let me hit you with this right out the gate. Sleep is perhaps the single most effective thing that we can do each day to reset the health of our brain and our body. Yes, it's that powerful. We're going to be unpacking what sleep actually is here, why missing just 2 hours might be more costly than you think, and how your brain goes to war with itself every 90 minutes while you sleep. Sleep isn't just shutting off. It's a deeply active process, and it comes in two main flavors. You have non-REM sleep and you have REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Think of these two types like tag team champions battling for brain dominance all night long, switching back and forth every 90 minutes. Now, non-REM sleep, it gets broken down even further into 4 stages, with stages 3 and 4 being that of deep sleep. So stages 3 and 4 are deep sleep, slow wave sleep that you truly need to restore your brain and body. What happens during non-REM sleep? As you enter non-REM sleep, your heart rate drops, your body cools, and your brain waves slow down. In the deepest stages of 3 and 4, your brain lights up with big, slow waves. This is when your immune system recharges, your cardiovascular system gets a tune-up, and for memory, most importantly, your memories get locked in for long-term storage. It's like a full system diagnostic for your entire body. Non-REM sleep is the recovery sleep. Okay, so non-REM sleep is the recovery. What happens during REM sleep? REM is where the magic of dreaming happens. Your brain activity speeds up again, almost like you're awake, but you're not moving thanks to something kind of like muscle paralysis. REM sleep is your emotional reset, your creativity boost, and your problem-solving mode. Have you ever woken up with the solution to a problem that you were stuck on? That is REM sleep doing its thing, connecting dots, stitching together ideas, and giving you insight. So how does this play out? The brain's 90-minute tug of war in this sleep cycle. Your brain cycles between non-REM and REM every 90 minutes, but the ratio of that cycle changes throughout the night. The first half of your night is mostly deep non-REM sleep, those deeper stages of slow wave. The second half of the night, that's where you're going to see more REM sleep, the lighter stages of sleep. And this matters a lot. Think about the 4 a.m. wake up problem. Let's say you normally sleep from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's a full 8 hours, right? But today, you wake up at 4 a.m. just to get ahead. Maybe you hit the gym or you go to work early. It seems like you lost 2 hours of sleep, which is just 25%. It's just a quarter, right? No big deal. Wrong. Because you just cut off the second half of your sleep, the part that is packed with REM. So in reality, you didn't just lose 25% of your sleep. You may have lost 50 to 70% of your REM sleep. That's your creativity, your emotional regulation, your ability to make sense of life. So, said more simply, you woke up early, but you may have woken up dumber, more irritable, and less resilient. Let's talk about caffeine, alcohol, when it comes to sleep. What you don't know will hurt you. Now that we understand the basic architecture of sleep, REM versus non-REM, those 90-minute cycles, and why waking up at 4 a.m. might just be robbing you of the most critical stages of your REM, let's talk about 2 everyday substances that sneak in and mess with that architecture more than you might think. So caffeine, we start the day with it, and alcohol, we often end with it. And what if I told you both could be wrecking your sleep, even if you fall asleep just fine? Let's break it down. Caffeine, the silent sleep saboteur. We all know that caffeine is a stimulant. It wakes you up, it gets your brain buzzing, and it helps you push through the day. But there are 2 sneaky reasons why caffeine might be messing with your sleep more than you realize. The first reason, the long half-life of caffeine. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 6 hours. That means if you drink a coffee at 2 p.m., half of that caffeine is still circulating in your system around 8 p.m. But it doesn't stop there. Caffeine has a quarter life of 10 to 12 hours. So by midnight, you might still have like something up to 25% of that caffeine still lingering in your brain at midnight. Even if you're the type who says, coffee doesn't affect me, I fall asleep just fine, I could have an espresso shot right before bed and be just fine. Your brain, it begs to differ. The second reason is it destroys deep sleep. Caffeine reduces the amount of deep non-REM sleep, the very stages, the 3 and 4, those stages that are responsible for physical restoration, for immune health, and for memory consolidation. So while you might be unconscious in bed, you're not hitting those deeper, more restorative layers of sleep. What's the result of that? Well, you wake up the next morning feeling groggy, unrested, and ironically, reaching for more caffeine, and now you're in the loop. Caffeine might not stop you from falling asleep, but it may stop you from getting the kind of sleep that your body needs the most. Alcohol, it's a fake sleep aid. That nightcap, it may feel relaxing, but when it comes to sleep, alcohol is just an enemy in disguise. Here are 3 ways that it messes with your rest. Number 1, sedation is not sleep. Alcohol is a sedative, not a sleep enhancer. It knocks you out, sure, but that's not real sleep. Sedation simply shuts off your brain cells. But real deep sleep requires coordinated waves of brain activity, your neurons firing in harmony, on and off, like ocean waves. Alcohol disrupts that rhythm. So what you get is false sleep, not the real deal. Sedation is not sleep. Number 2, alcohol fragments your night. Ever wake up at 2 a.m. after drinking, tossing and turning? Maybe you're extra hot. Do you stay that way the rest of the night? Well, that's alcohol activating your stress response, your fight or flight nervous system. It keeps your brain on high alert and prevents you from staying in the deep or even REM stages of sleep for long. You may not remember it, but the sleep that you got, it was broken. That's why you wake up feeling like you got hit by a truck, even after a full 8 hours. Some people say the hangover that you feel from alcohol is not so much from the acetaldehyde breakup that you get when alcohol is broken down in your system and by your metabolism, but it's actually from the lack of sleep and the dehydration. Alcohol fragments your night. Number 3, alcohol blocks REM sleep. Here's the real kicker. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep, the dream stages of sleep. That's vital for emotional regulation, mental health, creativity. Cutting off REM is like robbing your brain of its overnight therapy session. So if you're relying on alcohol to wind down, you're actually signing up for poor sleep quality, for poor and more reduced recovery, and lower brain performance the next day. And any of you that have worn a sleep tracker, you can see this right away. Now, look, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life at all. I support you in whatever you do. I'm not anti-coffee. I'm not anti-wine. I'm just pro-informed decision-making. It's a trade-off. Now, if you're serious about prioritizing your sleep, it's crucial to understand how these common substances affect your sleep duration, your quality of sleep, and the architecture of your sleep. The choice, it's yours. If you're going to drink, make it something special. Let's move into sleep and memory, the brain's ultimate backup system. So far, we've covered how sleep is structured, how REM and non-REM work like teammates, how caffeine and alcohol sneak in to sabotage your night. But now let's dig into one of the more fascinating parts of sleep, the more practical parts of sleep, and the benefits of sleep when it comes to memory. Whether you're a student pulling all-nighters, or a professional learning a new skill, or maybe an athlete trying to master your sport, sleep might be the most powerful performance-enhancing tool that you're not using properly. Let's break it down. Step 1, sleep before learning. Soak it in. You need sleep before you learn something new, because sleep prepares your brain like a dry sponge, ready to absorb knowledge. Without proper rest beforehand, your brain's memory circuits, especially the part of your brain called the hippocampus, it gets bogged down like a waterlogged sponge. That means you can't absorb new info as easily. You're more easily distracted, and your ability to focus, it tanks. Translation, no matter how many hours you study, if you are sleep deprived, your brain isn't even open for business. Step 1, sleep before learning. Step 2, sleep after learning. Save it for later. It's not just the sleep before that matters. You also need sleep after learning. Sleep acts like a save button for your memories. Without it, those new ideas, they just don't stick as well. In fact, research shows that sleep future-proofs your knowledge, consolidating and protecting it long-term, embedding it into your brain's neural architecture. Let's geek out for a second. When you learn something new, that info is temporarily stored in the hippocampus. It's a small region on each side of your brain. Think of the hippocampus like a USB stick. It's great for short-term storage, but it can fill up pretty fast. Meanwhile, your cortex, the big wrinkly part of your brain, that is the external hard drive. That's where long-term memories live. During your deep non-REM sleep, your brain does this magical thing. It transfers memories from the USB stick, the hippocampus, to the hard drive, the cortex. That's one of the reasons why deep sleep is so important. It clears space for learning the next day by backing up what you learned today. It gets even cooler. Scientists found that as rats ran through mazes, their brain activity created this kind of memory song, each step encoded in a different neuron, like musical notes. When the rats fell asleep, those exact same brain patterns actually replayed in their neural firing, but now at a 10 times speed. It's like your brain hitting the fast forward button to strengthen memories and encode them even deeper. Sleep doesn't just store your memories, it rehearses them on repeat at warp speed. That's really incredible just to even think about. This is called memory replay, and it's one of the reasons why athletes, musicians, and students see performance improvements after a good night of sleep, not just from the practice itself. So step 2, that is sleep after learning. And step 3 is integration, connecting the dots. Finally, we've got memory integration here, and this one's wild. Sleep doesn't just file away memories in separate folders. It actually links them together, forming new connections between ideas, new connections between experiences and patterns. That's why you wake up with a solution to a problem. That's why a dream might give you a creative breakthrough. That's why the phrase sleep on it even exists in every culture. Sleep on it. Sleep is just more than rest. It's problem solving, creativity boosting, and wisdom creating. Wow. So next time that you're tempted to stay up, grinding, late through the night, ask yourself, would you rather cram with a waterlogged brain or sleep and let your brain rehearse, encode, and reorganize whatever it is that you have learned? Your brain has an overnight editing bay. Why not use it? Whew. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this part 1 of this deep dive series into sleep, arguably the most underrated performance tool in the game. Today, we uncovered what sleep actually is, how REM and non-REM team up to transform your brain and your body, and why nightly wine or late coffee might be blocking the very recovery that you're chasing. We also explored how sleep acts as your brain's overnight hard drive, backing up memories, solving problems, and boosting creativity. But we're just getting started. Next time we drop a Wellness Wednesday episode, we're going to break down how sleep deprivation hijacks things like your hormones. It ramps up hunger, wrecks your metabolism, and impacts everything from emotional regulation to immune function. So if today opened your eyes, imagine what happens when we close them the right way. Until then, live well, sleep deep, and keep living the dream. And that's it, my friends. Thank you for joining me on this Wellness Wednesday episode of the Livin the Dream podcast. Share the knowledge that you gain with your friends and family and hold each other accountable. If this episode inspired you, share it with a friend who could benefit from a little better sleep. To support this podcast and help it grow, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on, and leave a review telling others how this podcast has benefited you. Leave a comment on this episode letting me know how you're incorporating these things that we've learned about sleep. This is really a non-cost way to help get this important wellness content in more people's ears. Take a screenshot and tag me at livinthe_dream_podcast or at coachdamian_SD and let us know how this episode benefited you. Let us know what we missed. Let us know what we got wrong. We want to know. Message us if you have any suggestions or tips that would help your Livin the Dream team that we can discuss in future episodes. I will be right here with you working on making us stronger, happier, and healthier humans. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.